Good morning, everyone. I have my friend Luke Jacoby, aka Hot Stocks Luke, aka
Woo.
my boss, here with me.
Just here to observe, Spencer.
Just here to
Keep
observe.
going.
He's okay.
Imagine I'm not here at all.
What do we normally do right now? I'm panicking because Luke is. No, I'm not kidding. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play that intro and we're gonna rip. Let's bring on Mitch, Zunaid, and Ryan. Mitch is wearing some sort of a Dolphins jersey. Is
13 days to NFL. Mitch knows what's up.
Is Mitch Long Dolphin Entertainment? Is that what that is? Is that what
You
that
already
is?
know it. I'm Long Matt Higgins. Matt Higgins, if you're hearing out there, I'm ready for the press box.
Okay.
I'm ready for it.
Zunaid is from his hotel in Dallas still.
I am.
Good morning. And Ryan.
That's not Dallas. That's Vegas, baby.
And then Ryan claims he just finished lifting weights. I can't actually confirm this.
Boom.
Oh, yeah, I can
test
confirm
flies,
it.
baby.
Yeah,
I see
you
that
guys
pump.
can confirm
I see
it.
that pump. Yep.
We can confirm that.
Thank you,
You
Luke.
see that vein on the neck right there?
All right, let's run this intro.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas law, that phrase.
Kiana.
Fisher.
Joy.
Joe. Cards drawn are the past, ones to come are future.
And the best part? It's beatable.
Okay, good morning again. So as I mentioned a dozen times or so today, we are awaiting Jerome Powell. But that being said, there's other things going on. Let's all share our screens here, as none of us have done yet. And we can all go through what we're watching. I will start the two big movers of the morning here, SAVA and support.com. Okay, I've got my support.com chart open right there. This is on the 1 minute. So I'm sorry if anyone took my advice and said you throw out a buy order with a stop loss at 5% because you definitely already got filled like 20 times by this point. So I don't really know how you approach this thing, but I'm going to be watching it like a hawk today. Oh man, this thing, how high did it get this morning? It got to 55. It got to $55 this morning. Support.com. Wild stuff. And then SAVA. We talked about this on the pre-market prep show just now. A third-party firm basically disavowed responsibility for whatever was going on with SAVA's data right now. And what I'm guessing is the market was sort of banking on that other firm sort of taking responsibility for, or this being their fault. They're saying, no, it wasn't us. Well, don't look at us here. We had no part of that. So Solid Train down 23% this morning. Oh, man. Let's bring on Ryan's Benzinga Pro here. Ryan, what are you watching right now?
Man, you stole it because you went first. You knew exactly what you were doing, and you went in there and you took the two biggest movers and you just stole it. So
Sorry.
I'm actually watching the same two movers, support.SPRT and also SAVA. Real quickly on the SPRT, I believe that you just said, I don't want to misquote you, but you said, I'm not sure what to do with it. Not sure exactly the words that you use.
I'm not sure. I don't really know how you trade it.
Yeah. So this is how. So number one, if you are going to trade this today, be very, very careful. My gut feeling, I could be completely wrong, but my gut feeling is that this closes under 30 today. For a little bit of context, this stock hit a low of 237 back in May of this year. So just have some idea of where this actually came from. What's going on here seems to be a short squeeze. There was stuff on Reddit and social media about this, and we're seeing some of the wackiness today. Remember, in the pre-market, the volume is not like it is in the regular session. So if you're going to trade this, I would advise that you watch how it trades in the regular session. Doesn't mean it's going to sink like a rock. These short squeeze plays can go crazy. I said GME wasn't going to be higher than 50. It went to 420. So just watch it, be tactical, use solid risk management. You should be okay. The other one that I'm watching here is SAVA. And I see one of our SAVA experts in the chat here saying, I'm officially starting to waver on SAVA. So
whoa.
No, that's a big news, Spence. Big news. So,
Wait,
I mean,
is that from Hector?
we're going to have to watch how this trades. You can already see that when it really kind of plunges, we're getting some bounces in there. So if this is what you're trying to capture to the long side, please understand that what you're trying to do is incredibly difficult, even though it is actually possible. So just be very careful on how you're going to trade this. For me, this is more of a watch for me.
Oh boy! All right. Wait, was that from Hector who said that?
Yeah, that was from Hector. And I'll be honest,
if you're wavering, I'm running for the exits.
Well, that's the thing. Hector has actually spent a lot of time reading some of the results, not just other people's opinions, but actually reading the stuff and then sharing his own opinion with our group in the afternoon. So Hector is well read on this subject. And like I said, he's done more due diligence than me. So I give it some weight.
All right, Zunaid, what are you watching this morning? You're on mute.
Yeah, I had to make sure I muted myself just so we don't have that crazy noise like we did the first time. But anyway, I am actually looking at, Tesla is around that $700 mark. I plan on getting a small position. I mean, maybe like 1/8 of my normal size at 700 for Tesla. Probably waiting a couple of minutes to see what happens at the open. If it goes at 698, I'm getting out. Microsoft, I'm taking a look at $300 level. Same thing, psychological for me. Trying to see if we can grab a position there at 300. If options come in on either of those tickers, especially Microsoft, I will be snagging that. I think Crowd is another one. Yep, there it is. Crowd. We knew that it had trouble breaking that. Where did it go? There it is. The 270 level. So I still have those options. Taking a look and seeing if it breaks this level here, 282, expect it to go much, much higher. And then the last one is PENN, and that's going to be over 460 for me. You can see it tried once, twice, 3 times, hoping the 4th time is going to be when we fly. So over 460 for PENN for me. Someone mentioned AMC. That thing is ripping to the downside. So my calls, my YOLOs are...
Yes. Update us, please.
Okay, sure. So as of yesterday... end of close, I am down a spectacular 95%. My options that I purchased for $1.41 are worth, let me look dead at the camera, 7 cents.
Wait, say it again. Hold on. Let me.
7 cents.
7
cents, baby. Ramen all night. Let's go.
Ramen all night. All right, and then Mitch. I don't know where Mitch went. He's here, but he's lurking in the background. Want to get his thoughts on what he's watching as well. What was I about to say? I forget what I was about to say. But Mitch, good morning.
What's going on, guys? I'm going to be looking at a popular mover, Palantir, at the open. Let's see if we can get above and hold 25 on any pullbacks. It's looking great here. I love the hourly chart. You've been seeing multiple bottoms here. We have 1 high, 2 highs, 3 attempts to get through that high. You guys know I talk about this. Now we just need to hold support. As long as we hold support, I think 25 right now is your line in the sand. As long as that 25 holds today, I think we're looking up there towards 26 today.
Hey, can the two of Reiners and A, can you guys check on Twitter? Is your Twitter down, or is it just me? And
what I saw
right now
earlier, I confirmed Twitter was down. I'm running TweetDeck, and it is working right now.
What? That's not fair.
I used
and it's down.
Nope.
Twitter's working just fine for me.
Yeah, I mean, here, you want to share my screen? You can see it update.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my regular Twitter is working. I don't use TweetDeck, but
it's been almost an hour. It's been almost an hour for me.
I don't like you, bro.
Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in?
No, hold on. Let me unplug the Twitter and then plug it back.
They think it's a Spencer bot.
It looks like the regular murder hornets. It looks like the regular.
I saw that too.
It looks like the regular site is working. Looks like TweetDeck is working. It's all good.
All right.
What did you do? What did you do to get thrown in Twitter jail?
Please
restart
the computer. It'll take 2 to 3 minutes for it to boot up.
I don't even tweet that often. I wonder what I did. Anyway, all right. So Twitter is working for some, not for others. If there is a nationwide outage, you would look at the stock, but since there's not,
so if it's working for some and not for others, it could also be a DNS issue because different people are going to be on different DNS servers. So just something to keep in mind. Looks like it's working though.
Okay. It's 9:28. shoot, we're going to open here in 2 minutes. Let's bring up my scanner tool, and we're going to watch this populate once we open in about a minute and a half from now.
And real quick before we open, I just want to kind of review this. I get asked this regularly. Here is the main scan that I watch while the regular session is open. Volume of over 1 million. I want some liquidity. Relative volume of 3 or higher. That's going to, and then also the change percent last 1 minute, 0.2. You can also narrow this down even further if you want to use a volume over 1 minute or volume over 5 minute field. But this is what I'm using every single day when we're doing this live trading.
All right. Where's my scanner? Here's my scanner. You can see nothing there because I set it. I have to set it to track price action from the open, which we haven't gotten to yet, but we'll be there in about 30 seconds. So let's see what comes of today. Again, as I mentioned, watching support, watching SAVA, and also I'll keep an eye on some of the other high flyers. Where I see TKAT is moving again, and it had a big day yesterday.
You know what, Spencer? They've been running this every morning. Remember, this is what happened yesterday. As soon as the market opened,
it actually happened yesterday, Wednesday, and Tuesday.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And even actually, the high of Monday was like 9:30. Like time wise, it was like 9:35 or something like that. So, watching TCAT off the open as well.
Yep, good call.
Watching those NFT plays. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There's our bell. Alrighty, let's take a look. See.
All right, so SPRT holding a 38.30 handle right here. Let's see what this actually does. I think this one's going to be wild. I'm not in it. I'm not trading it. A couple of the guys on the support team had calls, so we'll see. This also might insta halt here. Let's be careful. Looks like it's kind of bouncing off 35 here, but this could potentially halt if this keeps up.
All right, guys, looking at
75 halted to the downside. There you go. Called that one early. Woo!
You were on the money there, man. Wow, that was fast.
I'm so slow today. I would have grabbed Gush right there at 64, 75s. I'd already be up 50 cents. Now I'm kind of in this stuck here. I'll wait for it to pull back now.
Whoa.
Gush.
Yeah.
Good move up there. I definitely was shot at that right there.
Yeah, you were talking about oil yesterday too, weren't you, Mitch?
There's a reason why. I see.
Indeed, we can see it today, my friend.
Yeah, whenever I see unrest in the Middle East, I start looking at oil.
Right.
All right, SAVA.
Yeah, let's watch SAVA.
See, now this is what I would do in SAVA. If I were to buy it, you stop yourself out at the low of the day, or in this case, the pre-market session, 48.94. That's your low for the day. That's so far away though. Maybe I would go to the low of this candle, with the 15-minute candle, which is 50.50. Still $5. It's a lot to risk. Man, I'm terrible at these high flyers.
They're not easy to trade, Spencer. Don't beat yourself up. They're not easy at all. SBET looks like it's really kind of pushing highs out here. This is a $6 stock, so kind of a low price stock, but really kind of hitting the highs here. Trying to get over that 6.7 level. Not really able to do it here. Definitely some interest right out of the gate.
I just went ahead and
video power move out of the gate.
Yeah, what do you got?
I just burned another $110. I got AMC $40 calls, and I've got the Nvidias that I'm going to close out here. I think when we traded on Wednesday, I got the 222.50s. Just sold them for $3.
Okay, it's in the chat as well, calling out some NFT plays, right? BBIG is ripping for some ungodly reason off the open here, but you also had TKAT, which I mentioned. DLPN has not really gone yet. HOFV is not really gone yet. HOFV is up 2%, but nothing compared to BBIG. So watching BBIG this morning, it is one of your top gainers. Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine if AMC goes to 60 after all the nonsense I've had to deal with.
Hopefully it goes to 60 while you're in it, though, my friend.
Imagine going from down 96% to up 500. Come on, let's just do it. Let's just have a little fun.
It's fun when that happens, man. When you get bailed out like that, there's
whoa.
feelings in the world.
Bailed out, sir. I had a very clear strategy that was very thought out.
You're right, and I'm sorry for for going that way. My bad, Zunaid. I didn't mean any disrespect by that.
All right, guys, going to point out play. Dave and Buster's not looking too bad there. We'll see if it gets through that 38.65.
I called that out the other day.
Yeah, it's starting to. That's why I brought it back up.
Yeah.
Started looking at that one.
Looks juicy.
It does look juicy. Two daily highs right there. Now starting to get through that prior high.
Okay, so someone's mentioning this other one, Peak Fintech, right? PKKFF. Super low volume, right? Normally, this thing trades a couple 100,000 shares a day. So, is there news this morning? I haven't. Who's talking about it in the chat? And Fo Drew. You have any color for us on this?
Sends on the scanner, man. Sends. It's pushing. That was Sends. That's a good one. I like that long term. Don't have it anymore. Took a beating on it. Made some money on it, but also took a beating on it. Yeah. So that SAVA bounce here, too early to tell, but that might have been short covering. Let's see how this actually kind of comes back in here. That might have been short covering right out of the gate there. Looking around here for something else. Apple, Amazon kind of flat. Let's check in on DraftKings.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good day for gambling today. I think it'll be a pullback day, but that's not a bad thing as long as it keeps holding the lows.
Yeah, kind of a janky head and shoulders forming here. I would like to see this actually invalidate this.
You had a Gamble, GAMB, that had news earlier.
Oof, that one, I looked at it, but then I saw the 50-point spread or 50-cent spread, and I was like, nope, not for me. I don't know about you guys, but I won't trade anything that has a 50-cent spread.
I've got like a 14-cent spread on it right now, but and now it's 8. But
I saw a 50-cent spread right there. It was like $9.50 on the ask and $9 on the bid. I was like, yeah, you can go.
Was that pre-market though?
You can gamble on that all day.
Jonathan,
are so cheesy.
Jonathan from the chat, nice job on that NVIDIA long. You should be doing pretty well on that. Elite Trading caught Dave and Buster's and also caught some of that bounce on SAVA. I'd like to hear what you did on SAVA. Good job, though, so far, guys.
I feel like for NVIDIA, I mean, it's great because, I'm gonna grab the 225 calls here. Just grabbed it for $1.48.
Today's calls?
Yeah. Always weeklies because why not? Again, it's because it's a weekly. I'm glad you asked, Ryan. These can immediately decrease in value ASAP. So please treat all the plays here as YOLOs, especially because it's at the money. So if this drops $1, you're probably going to lose 40% in those options contracts. I like how it's holding VWAP at the moment. But again, we're not even 7 minutes into the market day, so let's see how it goes. But again, got him for about $1.44. Treat it like a YOLO, please. And if you want to be safer, go out a couple of weeks.
Palantir, and we're actually above yesterday's intraday high. That is definitely bullish. As long as we build above yesterday's intraday high, I think we could have more room to the upside here. 25.41, let's call it 25.50. Let's build above.
What did it do?
What?
Right out the gates.
Immediately rocketed right out the gates. Oh, no, you're saying it dipped a little bit to support and then bounced? Yep.
25. Sorry. That's what I talked about, right?
Yeah, it is.
The same price point. There's a reason why you wanted to hold that level. So if did a retail fake out wash there where you see the wicks, but what happens? It closes above 25, giving you that bullish sense that, hey, as long as that level holds, now you really got a line in the sand because you even got it in the intraday.
And to your point, Mitch, you can actually confirm that with the volume stick too, because as soon as we bounce from that, we get the largest volume stick of the day so far on this push through 25 and then 25.41.
People attacking that red to green, attacking that red to green play. It happens all the time.
You got it. Looks like one of our Brett is hitting this. Let's go, Brett. Nice job. Boy, we got a lot of stuff going on this morning. This is awesome. SAVA, you had Elite Trading. SAVA, you had an order in at 51.19. You sold at 55.60. That's awesome. That stock was moving around fast. 4 points in a couple of minutes? Whew. Nice job. That's get green on the screen early on. That's awesome. Let's take a look at PENN real quick since I already talked about DKNG. PENN look a little higher than DKNG, but really, again, same deal. We need to take out yesterday's highs.
One stock up. I got a question from the chat about beach bomb trading. What are the good hurricane plays? The one that I liked today was Generac, but it's already up about 6 points. So I kind of would just kind of leave it alone now. But Generac, GNRC, not a bad trade there. It's already up about 6 points though.
There was another GRNC. There was another one. I can't remember. I can't remember. I thought there was another smaller cap name that got hurricane.
All right, guys. I'm going to call out the sectors here. So energy leading, of course. That's why I was looking at oil yesterday, but I didn't grab it. So unfortunately, I'm just watching. Basic materials right behind that. And if you look in there, you'll see strength in aluminum, coal, and copper. We can go to real estate. You're going to see hotels and motels leading there. Not a bad
Holiday
look.
Inn. Sorry.
Hey, you already know. Financial services also doing well. It looks to me like a down day, but I'll pay attention to the middle sectors, which are industrials and consumer cyclicals right now, that have been going up from the open. So, I mean, essentially from the open, the only ones that are in the red are healthcare and utilities.
Sorry, I'm still looking around here. Mitch, do you have a plan? Well, I actually, I'll open this to both of you.
Yeah.
Mitch, Zunaid, do you guys have a plan depending on what we hear from Powell today, or are you not really even considering that with new trades?
Well, I mean, I kind of always expect to hear the same kind of thing. Well, inflation's just not where we expect it to be at right now. We're waiting for it to get to those levels. The market is getting a little bit hot here, but we're not going to change rates. We're just going to hold on to our pants and wish that, you know, by the time it comes, that when we do change rates, it'll be the right time.
I like your impression, Mitch. I think you need to do that on a podcast.
No, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, that's what I always hear. I always hear like the back and forth comments like, oh no, but inflation is coming up. But no, we're also seeing that the measures are actually meeting what we expected, you know.
For me, not necessarily one way or another. I'm just looking at price action. So like the stocks that I've already talked about, the levels, that's what I'm looking at to see movement one way or another. Something that I do need to personally get better at is playing to the downside. I'm not going to lie, traveling, I only have one laptop. So I'm not able to see, 3-4 different things that I typically am. So it is a little tough. Something that I probably should have recognized because I did take some losses yesterday. But to answer your question, I don't care what they say. I'm just looking at the levels on my charts and going from there.
It's pumping Powell.
It's pumping Powell. Mitch, you're on fire today, man. My man. Looks like SPRT trying to bust through 30 to the downside. So again, my gut feeling told me we have a close sub 30 today. We're a long way away from the close. So let's see what happens. But
you have elite trading.
Ow!
Say again.
It's popping Powell.
You have elite trading.
Sorry, Zunaid. I'll stop.
You have elite trading, Ryan, that's talking about GoGo. If I remember correctly, a few months back, you were a big fan of GoGo. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So I've been a big fan of GoGo for several years. This was a long-term hold for me. I started legging in at 4. I actually got my average down to about 315 before liquidating my position around 12. There was not just one buy and one sell. There were probably 5 or 6 buys over the course of those couple of years, and then 2 or 3 sells. I also sold upside calls against my stock position in order to get some more money for holding it. My thought on GoGo here is eventually this is a company turnaround play, and Oakley, the CEO, is quite good at this. He's got a track record of doing it. I expect this to print 20 or 25s in the next year or two. I had already had a bunch of capital tied up and was on a multi-100% winner, which is why I just had to liquidate some of them. I kept a very small position. I think I kept like 150 shares of my main position that I actually ended up selling out of when we made this run towards 10 recently. This last sell-off here towards 10, I liquidated the rest of my position near the lows. So I'm looking to get back into this, but what I'll tell you in all my experience, do not chase the green candles. As far as what Elite Trading is saying today, he's exactly right. We've got a little bit of a pop right out of the open. We had a huge pop yesterday, and it bled it back later on in the day. Gogo always seems to have a 3 p.m. fade. I don't know what the deal is, just what I've noticed. So I don't have any position here. I'd like to play this around the calls. I do think eventually this is a $20+ stock.
I like that you said it always has like a, was it 1 o'clock that you said movement?
3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern fade.
And that's when you got to know like the personality of those stocks, because if you know that, you can kind of play, right? Like something I've noticed is Facebook always has like a pop and drop and then goes.
Yep.
You notice these type of things, you kind of wait a little bit then right out of the gate, let it do its thing, and then you can get in. So it's always good to know the personalities of the stocks that you're watching.
100%. Real key thing to watch. And I mean, here we're looking at an intraday chart of Gogo. You can see every day it just in the afternoon, I don't know what it is. It just starts to bleed its gains back. So just something to keep an eye on. I do still like no position.
Yeah, Nvidia is back at break even. So if you got it, get out now if you need to. But I'm hoping for it to break this 225 level. Let's see. It knocked the first 3 minutes, and then it kind of tested that 222.50 near the lows of the day. It's coming right back up. Again, I do have a position in there. It's 225 calls. It's a weekly guided for $1.44. They went as low as 90 cents. They are now currently trading at 132. So if you're going to grab this, treat it like a YOLO.
All right, traders, I'm looking at solar names right now. They're all looking decent right now. The only ones that aren't are First Solar, JKS, and Sun W. The rest of them all looking to the positive green side. I know I've been keeping an eye on solar because I think that's going to be a industry that is going to get hot. So let's see if the story starts moving here. I'm trying to get in max N, but we'll see if I get a pullback buy.
Are you in PLTR? That's something.
No, I'm not. I'm not in it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Should be in it at 25, but the big thing I wanted to get Gush, and I just hesitated right out the gates. That's already up there to 67. That's already a almost 5% move, 3 points right out the gates.
I gotcha. Yeah, the reason I asked about Palantir is because when I remember you had mentioned it.
I have been in Palantir before, but
yeah,
I made a small gain on it and got out. But it was all about the hourly chart on Palantir. If you're not using the hourly, I would definitely start looking at that on Palantir. You'll see that it does a lot of support holds off the hourly, and then resistance holds well on that hourly chart also.
Taking a look at Neuro here. I know there are a couple of people in the chat asking about Neuro. This thing has really kind of bled back its gains after its huge pop here. A little rich for my blood. I don't trust it up here. It looks like we're bouncing off of some of this pre-market support level here. I would say if you do this and you get green on the screen, don't be afraid to take it. I don't trust this to stay higher here. That's just me though. Could be totally wrong. We were getting asked about that. SPRT halted again. Is that the case? Halted to the upside this time. This is going to be a wild one today, folks.
Yeah, that's the second circuit breaker of the day.
Yep, and it's in a different direction. The first circuit breaker was to the downside. This one's to the upside, so that's going to get wild. PLTR continuing its strength. Nice job, whoever has PLTR.
Finally.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, my Twitter's back up. No, it's not. Stupid. Sorry, Zunaid, go ahead. My Twitter.
No worries, brother. Someone please feel free to interrupt me if you do have a trade that you're getting into. But if the folks that are viewing the charts at home, if you want to go ahead and pull up support.com, go ahead and pull up the chart, including pre-market, right? And you'll see there was so much consolidation happening from 7:16 in the morning till about, let's say, 8 o'clock. So 45 minutes. And it was right above that $30 level. It had great support there. Didn't go down, not even a tick from what I'm seeing here on E-Trade. And you can see that the halt down, it bounced and it had a nice little long wick at 941 at that $30 level as well. It's very, very important. This isn't a ticker that I was necessarily looking to trade because for me, having one laptop, it's just too volatile for me. I can't do it. So I didn't get into it. But I wanted to, at least for the folks at home, show the levels of how pre-market can give you an idea of where support is. So if you want to get it into plays, not just like this, but anything, it'll give you an idea of where the levels are at. And you can see it bounced off of the 30 because that's what the support was long before in the pre-market there as well. And you can see the volume also came in and ticked up, and it's been green candles since then, and it halted up as well. So always check out pre-market. It's a mistake I made early on. I was like, pre-market, low liquidity, blah, blah, blah. That's not always the case.
Everything Zunaid just said, that was the impetus for pre-market prep back in the day. Pre-market highs and lows are important.
Yep.
They are not to be ignored.
And that's why when you guys see me bring up movers and chart out price levels based on pre-market highs and lows, that's exactly why. We're all saying the same thing. Absolutely love it. I think that's a great spot there, Zunaid. This worked almost to the end.
Yeah, even better is going to be also not just only knowing the high, but paying attention to the level 2 and the price action in pre-market is going to help you.
This is so interesting. We got a couple retailers going in opposite directions today from the open. Ollie, OLLI, right? Ollie's bargain outlet spiking up almost 10% here this morning. And then Hibbett Sports, HIBB, they report. Wait a minute. Today's Friday. Didn't they report today? Am I crazy? They reported today, didn't they? Hibbett, HIBB? Yes, they did. And their report was great, and they raised their guidance. And Hibbett is down now 10% since the open.
All right, I just want to take a look here. I don't know what's going on here, but there was definitely a monster bid put in on Ross, ROST. 200,000, over 200,000 shares showing up there on that 1 minute candle at 9:48. I'm wondering if that was a block trade. Can you see if there was a block trade put on there, Spencer?
In Ross?
Yep,
yeah,
I got it.
Yeah, Pro would let us know.
I got it.
All right.
I'm just wondering if there was a block trade.
I don't see any block trade, but
Options?
and this actually, I'm sorry, this is from yesterday. Excuse me. I don't see anything new from today in Pro yet.
All right. I was just wondering because whenever I see 200,000 shares and no volume traded on the other 1 minute candles, I look to see if that was a block trade.
I got the right ticker, right? ROST?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, Ross Stores.
Yep.
It's, Spencer started bringing up Ollie, so I started looking up some of the cheaper apparel stores.
I see Kadir posted in our chat here. Bullard says markets are already pricing in that a taper is going to happen.
You know what, though? But we know now via the last minutes that we got, the Fed minutes, that we know that there is some disagreement on within the Fed.
You're exactly right.
When to taper. So, and we know that Bullard has always been on one end of the spectrum. He's always the outlier. So we know there's disagreement. It was reflected in the minutes. Powell is supposed to start speaking in about 10 minutes. I do have the stream up. It's on our channel. I've got it up right here as well. I'll keep it on in the background unless we want to just play it while we do our thing, but I don't think we do. But I've got it up, and you can watch it. YouTube.com/Benzinga TV. I'll put the link in the chat as well to watch both us and Jerome at the same time, if that's your thing. There it is. Okay, a few tickers in the chat being thrown out there. Someone asked about Astra, ASTR. This came up yesterday in one of our shows. For fairly low priced space stock, what's it doing today? Up almost 3%. Moving with the rest of the market, sort of. ASTR doesn't look that bad, actually, on the daily. And then somebody mentioned one I don't know. Let me go up and find it. Apologize. It was Ray something radium. Thank you, Noah.
SPRT 3636, by the way, here. I think this actually is going to halt.
Radium. All right. I'll pull up a chart of radium, Noah, for the crypto
halted.
update.
SPRT halted to the downside. That's 2 downside halts today.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. I will play 1/10 of my position because I want to not just tell you guys about the support system, but I want to, try to put some money. So again, I'm literally putting in like a small size here. I will put in a order to buy shares at $30.20. Again, it's literally a small size just to, we talked about the support, so I just want to kind of peck at it, if you will. So there you go. The order's out, and we shall see what happens. I will keep you guys posted.
Awesome. TCAT trying to consolidate here around the 12 handle. Looks like between 12 and 13, it's trying to consolidate. We'll see if it actually breaks out of that range today. No trade for me on this one, especially while we're actually in that range. Market looks like it's trying to push higher here. Futures and SPY both pushing higher here. Dow as well.
Bulls, you got me a little too excited. You said AMC is running. I looked over to see how rich I am, and I see that it's still just
Hanging
kind of
out.
doing. It's just in consolidation. It's like towards the low of the day, $40 support level. It seems thus far. Bulls, why are you playing with my heart, man?
So Zunaid, on that point, I got to real quick. When I first started doing this, I started watching CNBC, and it took me maybe 4 weeks to just get really frustrated with the way they would talk about things. I would hear stuff like Bank of America is soaring, and it's like checks Bank of America up 7 cents.
This is my biggest complaint with and I don't want to. It's not any. Everyone does it. Frankly,
Everyone does it.
Frankly,
Yeah,
Benzinga does it too. Okay, frankly, Benzinga does it too. Okay, my biggest complaint is blank soars on blank, or blank drops on blank. One, because a lot of times by the time that headline is out, or by the time I've seen it, it was soaring and now it's dropping, or it was dropping and now it's soaring. And the other thing is, unless there is a headline that there is an agreement out in the marketplace that this headline is going to affect the stock. What the hell is it mean? Like earnings, for example, right? We all agree that earnings affect stocks, right? But so unless you have that, a lot of times there's just this like correlation that they pull, like stocks rip off of blank. It could be anything. That's not necessarily why the stock is higher, but they correlate these things together, and it bugs me a lot.
Yeah, you're not alone, Spencer. I'm with you, man. I appreciate that, Rand.
Or what really upsets me is when they go like, stock rips higher off of earnings or whatever, and the rip higher they're referring to is ignoring the fact that the pre-market high was made 4 hours ago. We've been going down for 4 hours now, right? So yes, are we technically still ripping higher from the close? Sure, but we've been trading down for 4 straight hours in the pre-market session. That irritates me.
Speaking of ripping higher, SGOC, this was a play through 10 earlier. We got a nice little pop through 10, got almost 50 cents. We actually busted through 10 again and got all the way up to what this is high of this candle, 64 cents on that move through 10 on SGOC. And this has been something that has run before in the past. Look at this craziness. Oh man. So SGOC, I actually didn't take this one. Oh, I was, here we go. We're going to keep ripping. It's soaring, Spencer. It is soaring.
That's funny.
Spencer's gone. He just laughed.
No, that's funny. Hey, 9:17. I'm sorry, not 10. 9:57:14 is the expected resumption for support.com. 9:57:14.
Right.
That's the time.
Snow looks like it's trying to bounce here today. I know we talked about the 300 level yesterday. That actually gave us a trade. Let's see if 300 gives us another trade here on Snow.
Looking at BTBT to see if it's going to get strong here at 11. Having to order out at 10.85, but we'll see if I get filled.
Hey, Spencer, can you give us your Bitcoin update today? We haven't got one yet, have we?
We haven't got one yet. I want to give you one, but let me just wait, because
you got it.
Support's going to resume in like 20 seconds.
You got it.
And I've got a 1 minute chart up here, and I'm just ready to rip it. So
okay, awesome.
Right,
yeah, I'm not trying to backseat drive.
And then remember, for the for the folks at home, $30.20. I have a small, I'm talking teeny tiny,
Here we go. Okay, we're open. 35. Do I hear 34? No, I don't. Not yet.
There goes Bit Digital. Missed the entry, but that's just how it's been today. I've been slow.
Evidently, my cat buddy is
Mitch, I feel you, man. I've been fighting this cold for like all week.
Oh, I'm just slow today for sure. I mean,
I've been sluggish. There's 34. I've been sluggish all week, man. It's been a struggle for sure.
I'll look for Mara and BT to keep running. We'll see if they keep running. What I liked about those is that I know that a lot of times cryptocurrencies love to make weekend moves. So a lot of stock traders get this psychology that I need to look at the Bitcoin stocks on Friday.
Hey, now we just got a green minute there, a green minute candle on support.
Uh-oh.
Nah. Yeah, and to Mitch's point, it's weekends, yes, but also what's when do we see typically big moves on Bitcoin is 3-day weekends, right? We have one coming up next weekend.
Yes, we do.
Next weekend is a 3-day weekend. So yes, we've seen before Bitcoin tends to make big moves on those long weekends because there's nothing else to trade.
Should I trade support with one share just to have some fun? I would buy it right here and just risk off 36, but that's 3 points of risk. That's a lot.
Brett Dorfman.
Bro, that's like 9 ramen. Chill out, relax. Don't live life on the edge.
That's a lot.
Hey, Zunaid, for all that ramen talk, I don't think you ever told us what flavor of ramen or what brand of ramen is your favorite.
Right? Are you a cup of noodles type of guy?
Yeah.
Cup of noodles? I mean, yeah, when I was in college, that's what I refer to when I speak of ramens. So yeah, in college, that was definitely the lifesaver. Chow Mein, I don't know if people have heard of that brand or not. That's my favorite go-to one, especially when they had the spicy sriracha flavor. But now it's just spicy chicken.
How did you guys not say Maruchan chicken flavor?
Yeah. The is it Maruchan or Maruchan or however you pronounce
it wrong. You're saying it right.
I will say this though, Ryan. For me, I'm a visual person and just about anything in life. So like even when Spencer just asked me the flavors, dude, I don't necessarily know, but I know what the
package looks like.
Yeah, I know what the package looks like. And
buy with your eyes, man.
You know what I mean?
Not with your mind.
Buy with your eyes.
You buy with your eyes, not with your mind. I know.
To the point where friends are like, "Oh, hey, like, can you grab this for me from the store?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, send me a picture. Like, just send me a picture. Like, why are you telling me that it's this edition, low fat, gluten free? What? Just send me a picture, and I'd be able to identify it. You know what I mean?
All right, it's 10 o'clock. Let's do a quick crypto update, and then I want to mention we'll see what Jerome Powell does. Yeah, mostly green on the screen heading into the weekend here today. We got Bitcoin trading higher, Ethereum trading higher. Wait, is that me? No, it's not me. Okay. Jerome Powell hasn't started yet. Okay, so Cardano trading higher, even Doge trading higher. Man, Doge can't seem to stay above 30, right? Let's drill down a little bit. I'll look at that Radeon in a second. So Bitcoin, same story, different day. I feel like a broken record here. Call me when it gets and it stays above 50 for a day or two. Actually, on the other side of that coin, pun intended.
We'll talk to you on Monday. Don't worry. We'll be here on Monday to talk to you about it.
Yeah, no, but I've been talking about 50 represents upside though. That's $2,500
TCAT through 13. Sorry.
Let's see here. We got how many lows is that? We got a series of lows in the high 47,000 area. So we'll have to watch that this weekend. Ethereum is so quiet. It's so boring. It's so quiet right now. It's boring. Straight up, Ethereum is boring. It's stuck in this same trading range, 3,000 to 3,300. I see it every single day. Call me when it breaks out either direction. Okay, this is from someone in the chat. I forget who. I apologize. Radium, which apparently you can't even trade in the U.S. So I take that for what it's worth. What's going on here? What is that? So we spiked up to almost $13 today. We got to $12.76. So we're off those highs now. If you go up to a daily, look at this. Whoa, look at that. We just went from $4 to over $12 in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. This is why crypto is the Wild West right here. You want to make quick money gambling? Crypto is it, straight up. I mean, how do you know? You had a series of lows, daily lows right here, right in the $7 area, high sixes. But what was there to indicate that this is going to rip higher today? That's my question. Up 60%, dear Lord. Anyway,
so real quick,
that's on my radar today. And as a reminder, Voyager offer in chat or in the link, excuse me. in description. The link is in the description. Win $50 in free Bitcoin. Open a Voyager account. Use the code ZING, Z-I-N-G. Deposit at least $100. Get $50 in Bitcoin when you do that. Okay. Ryan, what are you about to say?
Yeah, real quick. Neuro. Earlier today I got asked about Neuro. I poo-pooed it. Looks like I was wrong. I want to take the L there. I'm sorry about that. Neuro, huge spike here on huge volume. Looks like it's halted.
Okay. Whoa, S&Ps. Hey, now. We
Jerome
got
Powell, baby.
Screen. S&Ps just ripped. While I was doing the crypto update, my eyes were off my other charts. S&Ps, NASDAQ, every major index just ripped.
Let me guess. Inflation is getting hot, but they're not going to do anything about it.
Should we unmute him?
Go for it. I'm sure it won't take long.
In a down.
Should we? All right, let's unmute him. Wait, I think I'm playing him twice. Hold on. No, I'm not. All right.
Massively shifted their spending from services to manufactured goods.
VIX
Booming demand for goods and the strength and speed of the reopening
Can someone pull up
have led to shortages
broad
and
market?
bottlenecks.
Oh, you
Leaving
see
the
that
economy
one. You see that one. So
supply
the
side
demand's the problem, not the supply. The demand led to supply problems.
Mitch is going off today.
Annual inflation well below zero.
This is why I'm not an economist.
Quarter century. Labor market conditions are improving but turbulent, and the pandemic continues to threaten not only health and life but also economic activity.
Do you guys have broad markets up on your screen?
Many other advanced economies are.
Mitch has got the sector view.
I had SPY.
I can get it up if you'd like all of it.
You can look at SPY.
I don't want to go back and forth
I
here.
will focus on the efforts to promote.
You can go back and forth on it.
Employment and price stability goals amid this upheaval, and suggest how lessons from history and a careful focus on incoming data and the evolving risks.
What a
offer
rip we
useful
just had.
guidance for today's.
I don't know why anyone thinks otherwise.
Hey, there we go, Ryan.
The pandemic recession, the briefest yet deepest on record, displaced roughly 30 million workers in the space of 2 months. The decline in output in the second quarter of 2020 was twice the full decline during the Great Recession. But the pace of the recovery.
Get to inflation. Get to the good stuff.
With output surpassing its previous peak after only 4 quarters, less than half the time required following the Great
Hey
Recession.
guys, since we're seeing this positive reaction, look for tech stocks to get a boom. I did see some of them start moving.
Output.
Yes.
Nonetheless, employment gains.
Great
have
call out,
also
Mitch.
come
Watching
faster
tech
than
stocks,
expected.
watching small caps.
The economic downturn has not fallen equally on all Americans, and those least able to shoulder the burden have been hardest hit. In particular, despite progress, joblessness continues to fall disproportionately on lower wage workers in the service sector and on African Americans and Hispanics. The unevenness of the recovery can further be seen through the lens of the sectoral shift of spending into goods, particularly durable goods such as appliances, furniture, and cars, and away from services, particularly in-person services in areas such as travel and leisure. As the pandemic struck, restaurant meals fell 45%, air travel 95%, and dentist visits 65%.
Dentist visits.
Even today, with overall
Poor dentist.
consumption spending more than fully recovered,
Literally, poor
services
dentist.
spending remains about 7% below trend. Total employment is now 6 million below its February 2020 level, and 5 million of that shortfall is in the still depressed service sector. In contrast, spending on durable goods has boomed since the start of the recovery and is now running above the pre-pandemic level, above the pre-pandemic level. With demand outstripping pandemic-afflicted supply, rising durables prices are a principal factor lifting inflation well above our 2% objective.
Yeah, now we're getting somewhere.
Given the ongoing upheaval in the economy, some strains and surprises are inevitable. The job of monetary policy is to promote maximum employment and price stability as the economy works through this challenging period. I'll turn now to a discussion of progress toward those goals. The outlook for the labor market has brightened considerably in recent months. After faltering last winter, job gains have risen steadily over the course of this year and now average 832,000 over the past 3 months, of which almost 800,000 have been in services. The pace of total hiring is faster than at any time in the recorded data before the pandemic. The levels of job openings and quits are at record highs, and employers report that they cannot fill jobs fast enough to meet returning demand. These favorable conditions for job seekers should help the economy cover the considerable remaining ground to reach maximum employment. The unemployment rate has declined to 5.4%, a post-pandemic low, but is still much too high. And the reported rate understates the amount of labor market slack. Long-term unemployment remains elevated, and the recovery in labor force participation has lagged well behind the rest of the labor market, as it has in past recoveries. With vaccinations rising, schools reopening, and enhanced unemployment benefits ending, some factors that may be holding back job seekers are likely fading. While the Delta variant presents a near-term risk, the prospects are good for continued progress toward maximum employment.
Waiting to see what the market does now. They're waiting.
The rapid reopening of the economy has brought a sharp run-up in inflation. Over the 12 months through July, measures of headline and core PCE inflation have run at 4.2% and 3.6% respectively, well above our 2% longer run objective.
Market's super quiet right now.
Businesses and consumers widely report upward pressure on prices and wages. Inflation at these levels is, of course, a cause for concern.
Okay.
But that concern is tempered by a number of factors that suggest that these elevated readings are likely to prove temporary. This assessment is a critical and ongoing one, and we are carefully monitoring incoming data. The dynamics of inflation are complex, and we assess the inflation outlook from a number of different perspectives, as I will now discuss. The spike in inflation is so far largely the product of a relatively narrow group of goods and services that have been directly affected by the pandemic and the reopening of the economy. The durable goods alone contributed about 1% to the latest 12-month measures of headline and core inflation. Energy prices, which rebounded with the strong recovery, added another 0.8% to headline inflation. And from long experience, we expect the inflation effects of these increases to be transitory.
Yep, there it is.
In addition,
Everyone drink.
Some prices, for example, for hotel rooms and airplane tickets, declined sharply during the recession and have now moved back up close to pre-pandemic levels. The 12-month window we use in computing inflation now captures the rebound in prices, but not the initial decline, temporarily elevating reported inflation. These effects, which are adding a few tenths to measured inflation, should wash out over time. We consult a range of measures meant to capture whether price increases for particular items are spilling over into broad-based inflation.
So far, sticking to the script here.
These include trimmed mean measures and measures excluding durables and computed from just before the pandemic. These measures generally show inflation at or close to our 2% longer run objective. We would be concerned at signs that inflationary pressures were spreading more broadly through the economy. We are also directly monitoring the prices of particular goods and services most affected by the pandemic and the reopening, and are beginning to see a moderation in some cases as shortages ease. Used car prices, for example, appear to have stabilized. Indeed, some price indicators are beginning to fall. If that continues, analysts predict then used car prices will soon be pulling measured inflation down, as they did for much of the past decade. This same dynamic of upward inflation pressure dissipating and in some cases reversing seems likely to play out in durables more generally. Over the 25 years preceding the pandemic, durables prices actually declined, with inflation averaging negative 1.9% per year. As supply problems have begun to resolve, inflation in durable goods other than autos has now slowed and may be starting to fall. It seems unlikely that durables inflation will continue to contribute importantly over time to overall inflation. We will be looking for evidence that supports or undercuts that expectation. We also assess whether wage increases are consistent with our 2% inflation goal over time. Wage increases are essential to support a rising standard of living and are generally, of course, a welcome development. But if wage increases were to move materially and persistently above the levels of productivity gains and inflation, businesses would likely pass those increases on to customers, a process that could become the sort of wage price spiral seen at times in the past. Today, we see little evidence of wage increases that might threaten excessive inflation. Broad-based measures of wages that adjust for compositional changes in the labor force, such as the Employment Cost Index and the Atlanta Wage Growth Tracker, show wages moving up at a pace that appears consistent with our longer-term inflation objective. We will continue to monitor this carefully. Policymakers and analysts generally believe that as long as longer-term inflation expectations remain anchored, policy can and should look through temporary swings in inflation. Our monetary policy framework emphasizes that anchoring longer-term expectations at 2% is important for both maximum employment and price stability. We carefully monitor a wide range of indicators of longer-term inflation expectations. These measures today are at levels broadly consistent with our 2% objective. Because measures of inflation expectations are individually noisy, we also focus on common patterns across the measures.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull that down a little bit.
Summarize.
You can still hear it. So, but just pointing out tech here, this is why I wanted to point out, this was the first move. Now we're starting to continue the move.
Yep.
As you guys can see, more confirmation.
Yeah,
and I mean, you could hear it from his voice. He's pretty much saying that, yeah, it has passed the levels that they're looking at. But like he says, he expects it to come back down almost immediately. I think this is a clear indication that rates aren't going to be changed.
And also semiconductors, SOXL trading up, also hit scanner. So that confirms
tech across the board trading higher.
Actual inflation or near-term expectations, suggesting that households, businesses, and market participants also believe that current high inflation readings are likely to prove transitory.
There it is.
And that in any case, the Fed will keep inflation close to our 2% objective over time. Finally, it is worth noting that since the 1990s, inflation in many advanced economies has run somewhat below 2%, even in good times. The pattern of low inflation likely reflects sustained disinflationary forces, including technology, globalization, and perhaps demographic factors, as well as a stronger and more successful commitment by central banks to maintain price stability. In the United States, unemployment ran below 4% for about 2 years before the pandemic, while inflation ran at or below 2%. Wages did move up across the income spectrum, a welcome development, but not by enough to lift price inflation consistently to 2%. While the underlying global disinflationary factors are likely to evolve over time, there is little reason to think that they have suddenly reversed or abated. It seems more likely that they will continue to weigh on inflation as the pandemic passes into history. We will continue to monitor incoming inflation data against each of these assessments. To sum up, the beta
record high
for continued progress toward maximum employment, with inflation returning to levels consistent with our goal of inflation averaging 2% over time. Let me now turn to how the baseline outlook and the associated risks and uncertainties figure in our monetary policy making. The period from 1950 through the early 1980s provides two important lessons for managing the risks and uncertainties we face today. The early days of stabilization policy in the 1950s taught monetary policymakers not to attempt to offset what are likely to be temporary fluctuations in inflation. Indeed, responding may do more harm than good, particularly in an era where policy rates are much closer to the effective lower bound, even in good times. The main influence of monetary policy on inflation can come after a lag of a year or more. If a central bank tightens policy in response to factors that turn out to be temporary, The main policy effects are likely to arrive after the need has passed.
All right.
The ill-timed policy move unnecessarily slows hiring.
He's
and other
saying
economic
no.
Activity
He's
pushes
saying we're
inflation
keeping
lower
our
than
foot on the
desired.
pedal.
Today, with substantial
Do,
slack
do we
remaining
expect
in the
anything
labor
else,
market and the
guys? Come on.
pandemic continuing, such a mistake could be
He's
particularly.
trying to get rehired. That's what this
We know
is.
that extended periods of unemployment can mean lasting harm to workers and to the productive capacity of the economy. History also teaches, however, that central banks cannot
4,500 in
take
the
for
S&P
granted
futures.
that inflation due to
4,500.
transitory factors will fade. The 1970s saw two periods in which there were large increases in energy and food prices, raising headline inflation for a time. But when the direct effects on headline inflation eased, core inflation continued to run persistently higher than before. One likely contributing
Tesla
factor
pushing, guys, and this could get it started up there to 713.
why we now monitor inflation expectations so carefully.
He's trying to pump the brakes a little bit.
Central banks have
On
always faced the
easing
problem
talk.
of distinguishing transitory inflation spikes from more troublesome developments. And it is sometimes difficult to do so with confidence in real time. At such times, there is no substitute for a careful focus on incoming data and evolving risks. If sustained higher inflation were to become a serious concern, the FOMC would certainly respond and use our tools to assure that inflation runs at levels that are consistent with our goal. Incoming data should provide more evidence that some of the supply-demand imbalances are improving, and more evidence of a continued moderation in inflation, particularly in goods and service prices that have been most affected by the pandemic. We also expect to see continued strong job creation, and we'll be learning more about the Delta variant's effects. For now, I believe that policy is well positioned. As always, we are prepared to adjust policy.
Pumping the brakes. I'm pumping the
to
brakes.
achieve our goals. That brings me to a concluding word on the path ahead for monetary policy. The committee remains steadfast in our oft-expressed commitment to support the economy for as long as is needed to achieve a full recovery. The changes we made last year to our monetary policy framework are well suited to address today's challenges. We have said that we would continue our asset
all-time highs
at the current pace until we see substantial further progress toward our maximum employment and price stability goals, measured since last December when we first articulated this guidance. My view is that the substantial further progress test has been met for inflation. There has also been clear progress toward maximum employment. At the FOMC's recent July meeting, I was of the view, as were most participants, that if the economy evolved broadly as anticipated, it could be appropriate to start reducing the pace of asset purchases this year.
But now,
the intervening month has brought more progress in the form of a strong employment report for July, but also the further spread of the Delta variant. We will be carefully assessing incoming data and the evolving risks. Even after our asset purchases end, our elevated holdings of longer-term securities will continue to support accommodative financial conditions.
Okay, that's it.
The timing and pace of the coming reduction in asset purchases will not be intended to carry a direct signal regarding the timing of interest rate liftoff, for which we have articulated a different and substantially more stringent test. We have said that we will continue to hold the target range for the federal funds rate at its current level until the economy reaches conditions consistent with maximum employment and inflation has reached 2% and is on track to moderately exceed 2% for some time. We have much ground to cover to reach maximum employment, and time will tell whether we have reached 2% inflation on a sustainable basis. These are challenging times for the public we serve, as the pandemic and its unprecedented toll on health and economic activity linger. But I will end on a positive note.
The whole thing's been positive.
We also know what a strong labor market can deliver to our society. Despite today's challenges, the economy is on a path to just such a labor market, with high levels of employment and participation, broadly shared wage gains, and inflation running close to our price stability goal. Thank you very much.
All right. That's going to be a wrap for that. Let's get that music out of there. All right, let's take stock of what just happened, everyone, because a lot happened during that presentation. Let's pull up a bunch of charts here. I'll start with the SPY. We'll go across the board, but wow, was that a bullish speech. The market absolutely loved it. Loved it. Where's my SPY chart? Oh, my goodness. I can't bring it up here. 1 second. We are at all-time highs, everyone, in the overall market. In the SPY, in the Qs. Oh, man. So SPY, the S&P futures got to 4,500. We hit 450. Actually, no, we didn't. We barely missed 450 in the SPY. But 4,500 in the S&P futures. NASDAQ got to over 15,000 NASDAQ futures I'm talking about. You can look at the Qs as the equivalent of that. So, wow, everyone. Tech blast. Look at the small caps. Look at the IWM. Rip City today. IWM, let's zoom out on this, okay? We know it's been stuck in this range. It's been out of favor, right? Small cap summer is not a thing. Well, Look at that green candle today. We are trying to bust out here thanks to Jerome Powell. Dow Jones reaction very muted, right? The diamonds, right? DIA, not as big a reaction there in the Dow. I mean, obviously we're up. We're not up as much as we are in the other major indices. Mitch mentioned tech. I saw a few people mention tech in the chat. Yes, obviously that's what the Qs are, right? Apple turned green during that. All of tech started ripping on this, right? Amazon, you can see Facebook. Big green candles, big green candles across the board here. Basically, in the entire market, except for right your TLT, obviously, your banks, muted reaction as you would expect. But just a lot going on there. I noticed during that speech that Ethereum was ripping. Anyone else see that?
Yeah,
ETH?
I mean, Bitcoin pounded the highs too, just regular old BTC.
Yeah, look at Ethereum during that speech. Very interesting. Yeah, Bitcoin too. Good call. Wow. Okay, so a lot to digest. So basically, if I'm interpreting this correctly, Powell just pumped the brakes on pumping the brakes and said, everyone slow down. I know we talked about tapering in the minutes, but we're not quite there yet.
One of the specific things that he said was that it needs to get above that 2% and sustain above that 2%. Yeah. That was the word that he used. So he's seeing the inflation pop over those levels, but he's seeing that it won't stay above those levels. That's, I think, an important notice there. Because before, what did he say in the prior meetings? 2% is what we need.
Yep.
Now he's saying, no. We need above 2% and sustained above 2% for us to make some moves.
Yeah, that was you're right, Mitch. That was an epic pump. Epic pump. Wow, market loved it.
Look at BTBT starting to take off too. That was a good one. I wish I would have got that one at the 1090 level that I wanted it, but it's already up there to 1126, looking strong there. Mara, also another one that was moving. I'm pretty sure. Look at that. There you go. Good moves from the Bitcoin. I know there is some Bitcoin traders probably like, you know what? I'm going for the Bitcoin stocks today. Weekend coming up. Let's do it.
You've got Netflix here near VWAP. There were some calls in the 565s, but it wasn't too much money in there. But if you wanted to play Netflix, it's at VWAP. You can get in here at 560. I do have contracts of 565 again, bottom for 80 cents. So if it breaks VWAP, I'll probably cut it, but it is kind of like a YOLO trade. So if you're going to get commons, get them here. You can go cut your losses below VWAP.
To those watching support, we're halted again. So that's how many halts today in support? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 halts today in support, SPRT.
And this is a downside halt, 31.97, your last print.
Wow. A lot going on there. Okay, a lot to digest. How's coin doing? Yeah, I mean, coin is tech. If you're tech, you're ripping. If you're small caps, you're ripping. If you're banks, not really. Right? Actually, there's my JP Morgan. Yeah, banks muted as you would expect.
One thing I'd point out is every single sector is green from the open.
Yes. Yes.
Remember yesterday we talked about how sometimes you don't want to trade when the SPY isn't making big moves in either direction. Today you're finally starting to get a bigger move.
Well, as you say that, Mitch, we are coming down now. It's almost like, okay, he's done speaking. Let's take a moment and gather ourselves. The S&P futures just fell from 45.02 to 44.94 in the last minute. So we are coming back down. It's almost like everyone's like, wait a minute, everyone. All he probably did was just punt to next time, right? 4,500 seems a little bit crazy. So we are coming down now off those highs of the day.
So I do want to say this 450. I mean, that's a big number in terms of psychological stuff for me. So I grabbed next week's 450 put. Something to keep an eye on. This is look, for me, the bigger picture economic stuff, I'm not going to lie to you, it goes over my head. I don't understand it. No clue how it correlates to the dollar, this, that. You know what I mean? I have no clue.
Yep.
I look at the charts and that's how I trade. So for me, I did grab a put strictly based off of that 450 level in SPY. And if I'm wrong, I'll cut it. If I'm right, I believe it'll pay. The risk reward is there for me, right? You get to 551, I'm getting out. You get to, 451, I'm getting out. You get to 445, I'm being paid handsomely. So
I love what Trente just said. You know, I just imagine Powell, because that's all he really did was just buy him some time, right? So he walked away. All right, we've got another month to put this off now. That should keep him off our backs for a few more weeks. And that's I think what the market is saying here is like, wait a minute here. Yeah, he just punted on taking his foot off the gas here, but we're gonna have to do this dance again next time. So. Trente, I totally agree with what you just said.
2022, guys, be careful. I don't think it's going to be a good year.
No, I think Mitch is dead on with that.
I've been worried about it.
I think the opposite because I have the odds.
Let's take a bet. Big lunch bet.
I have the odds on my side. More
Texas de Brazil downstairs.
Yeah, no, I'm not betting you that.
Trying to get that good lunch, Ryan.
I can't afford that. Also watching Neuro and URO. Were there a number of halts today on this? Neuro Matrix. Yeah, there is at least one halt on NURO. Another high flyer today. Almost got to 17. All right, it's 10:30, guys. You want to go around and get some final thoughts? Let's start with whoever wants to start. I don't care who starts.
I can start because I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep watching the same names. SPRT, again, my gut tells me we got to close below 30. It's been really volatile. Probably won't trade it, but we'll watch it. I definitely want to see if this initial move holds up. Sometimes with the Fed, we get that initial move and then it reverses. We'll see if this move holds up. I definitely liked what I hear in terms of bullishness. And I'm going to be watching some of the small caps, right? We noticed that finally some of the small caps starting to get some life today. So some of the positions that I'm holding, like Chara and SMSI, NAII, all of them up. So I want to watch to see how how these small caps trade the rest of today's session.
Zunaid or Mitch?
I'll go. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go ahead and go. For me, it's been. I'll go in the mental headspace. It's tough trading on one laptop, and it has been a red day. I think it's one of those days where you're eager to trade because you want to be in a trade, and so for me, I'm just going to scale back on my trades here for the rest of the day.
Smart,
just because I don't have my setup.
Bro, you're on the road. It's a smart thing to do.
Yeah. So. My main point to wrap things up, take care of your mental in terms of, know what your surrounding is. And if you're traveling and you don't have your system, it's okay to take a day off. And of course, do your homework, learn about the VWAPs and all the psychological numbers over the weekend.
Mitch, final thoughts before we see you on SPACs.
All right. Palantir is my trade of the day. Was looking for this one to hold 25s at the open. Kind of exactly what we got there. Now I'm looking for it to get towards 26. That was the price I gave before the open. I think it'll get back up there. Not a bad trade if you were able to nail that Palantir. Good example of why the hourly charts are important. If you look at the hourly charts, you're going to be able to see that it holds consistently those supports. One of the lessons that I have to tell people is that if you're only using the 1 minute and the 5 minute and then maybe going to the daily, start taking a look at the 15 and the hourly. Those are really my favorite charts. And if I've ever noticed that if I just trade off the 15 and hourly, I've done probably 10 times better than just trading off, let's say, a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart.
All right. Mitch, Zunaid, Ryan, see y'all later. Have a good rest of your
Have a
days.
great weekend.
All right, you too, my man. Let me bring
Fins.
go. Sure. Okay. Let's bring on our biotech guru, Vivi Biotech. She used to join us Tuesdays, Thursdays at 2:30, but we said, nah, mornings are more fun. So beginning today, Fridays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Vivi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. The market's just had new all-time highs for the gajillionth time this year, so I'm in a great mood. How are you doing?
Me too. Me too. Like I was, I was listening to what he had to say. Like I don't have all my equipment here trading. I'm at my boyfriend's house.
Yeah.
But I was like, I made a trade in Neural, and 10 minutes I made 2,500. I'm like, I'm not gonna overtrade. I'm done for the day. I'm like, that is the problem. Like, if I do and make some money and then by noon, I decide by lunch hour to overtrade, that's when I get myself in trouble. So I'm trying, like, my goal was like, okay, I'll make $2,000, hit 2,500. I was looking at 1 minute chart and I sold it. So I could have maybe made a little bit more, but
don't think like that. Don't think like that. Don't
no,
think, yeah.
But I think that you just
gave you.
So now, like, I think you need to get yourself some goals. Like if your goal is $1,000 a day, like you don't overtrade. I think the minute that you start overtrading is when we get ourselves in trouble,
Totally agree.
So I'm done for the day. That was the quickest 10 minutes of my life. I am done.
Nice.
Friday.
All right. Well, that being said, recap for us any trades that you made this week. Any news that you saw, good or bad, upside or downside?
Yeah, there's a lot. I think that we have a lot to talk about. I told you guys, if you can pull up SCSN, everyone thought it was another slam dunk here for approval, and look what happened to the stock. So if you can pull it out
on SCSN. Yeah, sorry, for some reason it wasn't showing up. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So what happened here?
So here's the crazy thing. We're supposed to have a PDUFA 2 weeks before PDUFA. They issue problems with problems with the manufacturing, and then they issue another one saying that now there's some questions on the clinical data. And I told you guys, I promised I was not going to hold through PDUFA after the ARDX fiasco. I had a small amount here. Now I'm selling 80% into PDUFA, but I ended up losing like not a lot of money, because it was only 20% I held. But just some crazy stuff. So now I'm like, everyone is waiting to see what is the type A meeting, just like it happened to ARDX. The type A meeting, what's going to happen in regards to what kind of requirements they're gonna request. And I was talking to urologists; they were really, really hopeful for this drug because it would be able to treat those patients with bladder cancer in their office, so you wouldn't have to send them to a oncologist. And it's just a bummer. I don't know how we and how these institutions got so wrong, So my strategy now, I'll be honest with you guys, I've been looking at PDUFA dates and I'm just buying puts because it's almost a win-win situation. The FDA has been on rampage with CRLs, which is complete response letter. So you either get a complete response letter or you get approval, and because
or you get approval before the drug is even approved, right?
Yeah, you've been getting. So here's the thing too: you've been getting data readout approvals 4 or 5 weeks before. So now it's not even safe to be able to swing to a data run up or a PDUFA run up, because all these things, these datas are getting back earlier than actually, we've seen that the approvals and denials are coming even earlier than the PDUFA date. So, for example, I'll tell you, like, one that I'm super confident and I know is gonna get approved. So I'm okay to hold its SENS, and I'll tell you why I feel very confident. It's a device. So I'm not afraid if it comes earlier because I know it's gonna get approved. So if you can pull out why? I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So they right now they have a 90-day device. So a lot of the kids, you put the glucose monitor in the kid's arm and you implant that device, and the parents can monitor the kid's blood sugar through an app. And they had the 180 device, 180-day approved in Europe. So finally, they are waiting for approval in the United States, and they just released the data, which was like over 95% accuracy. So I really don't see why they wouldn't approve this device. So it's a little safer because it's not really a drug. You know what I mean? It's not like a molecule.
It's a device.
Yeah. So Roche owns 11% of this company. I'm so surprised they haven't bought out this company yet. But it was so funny. I used to own like 5 years ago, and then I sold and then went all the way to 60 cents for some reason, maybe a delay in approval. And then finally, it's finally back to $4. So I should have bought when it was really, really low. So I feel very positive on that. So the latest ones that I'm excited about. So, I talked to you guys about AUPH for a while. So the word on the street is, you guys, Benzinga had an interview with them, and they, the word on the street is that they are getting their roles in the ducks in a row to get a buyout at $35 a share. But then Benzinga, I guess they had an interview with the Benzinga. They say that's a rumor. But I don't know. Look at this chart. Let's play by the rumor. We still have a $12 a share to gain. But this is a company I purchased first 4 years ago in 2016, a lot of $4. And I had a lot more before, but I'm still holding 1,000 shares. So I'm a happy camper on this one. But that's why it's been going up like crazy, because there's a buyout rumor of a $35 a share. So excited about
do we know like who would buy them out? Just
no, they just said it was a big pharma that's gonna buy them out. They're in talks. So this is a perfect candidate for a buyout because it's one drug, one hit wonder. It's one drug for lupus nephritis. The data is amazing. They just reported 2-year long-term data. So this is like the perfect candidate. They're on their own. They're by themselves. So they don't have anything else besides this. So it's primed for a sale, but they had to prove concept, like they have to prove that they can sell the drug. So the sales are getting better. And I do believe that rumor might be true, So we still have like a $12 a share. I'm holding this long term. I know eventually a buyout is going to happen. So when? We don't know yet, but it's been a good run, for the last week. It's crazy. Did you see that?
So what else have you traded this week or watched?
Okay, so I am I'm holding a longer swing. I added more to my position, but PTIX. So PTIX has it went down to below 2 because a new drug investigation, IND, got delayed by a quarter. So we're waiting on the IND news. This is a low float stock. This is the kind of stock that we can see, like when we get the news, this can go from $2 to $7, because the float is small. So we're going to have data presented in Q1 and Q2 of next year, but I'm really holding for the IND news. So when we get the IND news, I'm going to sell it.
Okay, but probably not until Q1 or Q2, right?
No. Q4 is the IND news.
Q4.
They postponed it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm holding for Q4. I'm not going to hold for data readouts. This is going to be, this is longer swing than I thought it would be, because I bought before the Q3 announced, and then they announced that got delayed by a quarter and it tanked. So then I added more to my position this week. So waiting on that. And
so
then,
wait, hold on. So what would you do? Like you've added to this already. So you're down in this position. So what would if it were to fall on that data readout or even beforehand, would you buy more or?
I don't think it's pretty. Once you get the news, it's just it moves well on news. So if we don't get the news that we're hoping, we're screwed, because then I have to wait for the Q1 and Q2 readout to make money then, so it's going to be a longer hold. Another one that I'm super excited is if you can pull out CKPT, Checkpoint.
Yeah.
So Checkpoint, I talked to you guys before on the show. I talk about how this company has a better, like the phase 1 preliminary data against Keytruda, which is the drug, most prescribed cancer drug. And they had a better ORR, which is overall response rates. And this company has the TGTX people on board there as well. And I believe that they're going to have a really positive readout, and it's in Q4. But if I get to $4 a share before, I'm selling it. I'm gonna I'm not gonna hold through the whole data. I'll probably sell 80% of it. So the run out, I don't even think we begun, because we have I actually know it should start, because it's September. No, October, November, December. So we have the whole month of September to wait. I feel very confident on this data. Because this drug is amazing. It's a PD-1 inhibitor. But like I said, I'm trying to just manage my risk here. So I'll probably sell 80% before the data readout, which is in Q4.
All right, let's get to a couple more, and then we'll do some figures from the chat.
Yeah, so let's go back to BCRX though. BCRX has so much stuff going on for them, I finally was able to get to my 20,000 shares. So I am completely lock and loaded. I broke all my investments.
You've been bought. You see, this is interesting, because we talk about adding to winners, adding to losers, or doing neither. You've been adding to a winner this entire time. You've been buying more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit about why some people don't like adding to winners, because they think, it screws up my cost basis, it raises it. You clearly don't care about that. Can you speak a little bit about why?
It's all about, I think, cost average. Yeah, sucks to see your $4 share going to a $10 share average. But I'm looking. This is my focus. I'm looking at a 3 year from now, 4 years. And I'm looking at $100 a share. And the reason I believe, because the people say, okay, look at the market cap, this is already baked in. It's not baked in. So the reason I'm adding the position is because the Factor D pipeline I told you about. The Factor D pipeline, they have this drug for PNH that's going to compete with AstraZeneca, who bought Alexion for $32 billion. So if BCRX got a $32 billion offer once that Factor D is up and running, that's going to be $170 a share. So everyone talks about a buyout. A buyout would be at $40 a share. I don't want to buy out, to be honest. I want to see BCRX become like the next Gilead, the next Amgen, the next, and there's a huge potential they will become a company like that. I feel like we found a unicorn here, and I've been talking to you guys about since $4 a share.
You've been mentioning this one for months.
I think that, so I finally, that was my goal, 20,000 shares. Definitely it's having $300,000 in one company.
Is that, I was going to ask, is this your largest position?
That's, yeah, I broke all my investment rules,
Vivi, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, I like, the 10%. Yeah, after what happened to SAVA, right? It makes you wonder, like, holy shit. Like, I was reading Some people saying that they lost $700,000 in SAVA. But here's the thing. SAVA went from 157 to 53 because a security firm, is questioning the data, and this is one of the biggest hopes for Alzheimer's disease. And now that this firm, it's questioning the data, ask for a clinical halt on the data for an FDA. It's a mess.
And they're in the news this morning. Hector's putting it in chat here, was that Quanterex basically disavowed their responsibility. They're like, hey, don't look at us, guys.
Yeah, they said something about like we didn't participate with the data readout. Yeah, something like that. It's a mess. So yeah, you got to think like, but how many? I haven't seen the pipeline. Is that one hit wonder too? Is this company has a lot more to offer? So the reason I'm so bullish with BCRX. So BCRX pulled in the first quarter, $10 million, right? $10 million in sales. And then the second quarter, they pulled 28 million. So this is going to be, they're projecting to do 100 million this year. And they just got approved in Canada. They are a force to be reckoned with. And the Factor D pipeline, the data was so good that they skipped from phase 1 straight to phase 3 and PNH. And people believe that Factor D is even more efficacious than Alexion. So that's why I believe that BCRX. And the funny thing is, they just elect to the board of directors an FDA guy. And people are like, oh my God, there's not going to be any CRLs for the future of a BCRX. So what do they mean is, when you have somebody that used to be in an FDA committee, they can guide you. It's not gonna, they're gonna be bought out, but they can guide you through the legalities of the study. They can make sure that every study is within the, because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, in terms of a study design and how you report data. So I feel like having somebody from the FDA is huge, because they can guide you through making sure that there's no mistakes going on, for future data. So yeah, so that's a huge news for BCRX, that they got an FDA guy into their board of directors. So we can go with the questions. I mean, it's been a while, so I'm sorry I've been mumbling here.
No, let's go on to the chat. Here's one from Mike E. AXSM, Axum Therapeutics. This one's been moving.
Okay, so Axum, did you see the drop though?
I did.
There's a huge talk about in CRL. So here's the funny thing. I'm trying to get back in. I think it's time for me to get back into pharma, and the reason is, I'll tell you guys, it's I can still trade. I mean, look at me today in 10 minutes, and it's a really, it's a 6-figure job when you sell pharmaceuticals. You get company car. So as a single mom, I think I need that kind of a steady income. So when I can't trade, it's stressful. Yeah, today I made 2,500, but I have to be laser focused, and be able to trade every single day. So if I can do both, once I do really, really well, and I have, a few million in the bank, and maybe I'll quit the pharma job, but I'm not there yet. So I feel like I wanted to have a steady income, so I'm not so stressed out, because full-time trader is stressful,
It is.
It's stressful. So they offered to I was gonna interview for them. Then I was like, okay, they're gonna have another antidepressant, another one. There's like 15 of them, like another Me Too. I'm not very, very excited for what the product is now, but they do have some stuff for I think it's Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. That's looking really good, I think, for agitation. So I wouldn't be excited for this product now, but for the future of this company, it's exciting. But I told the manager, I'm like, I'm sorry, I wanted to bring value to my customers, and I don't want to sell the 15th to the 20th antidepressant. Like, I want to bring value. I want to sell something that's going to be unique, that's innovative. So we're waiting. The PDUFA is coming. I'll be honest, I wish I bought puts back then. would be printing huge right now. So it can go either way. That's why the talk is that I even post, I thought they got the CRL because I saw like a 50% drop, and people are like, we haven't even got a CRL yet. I'm like, holy moly. But the FDA is kind of being ruthless lately. They haven't approved anything the last like 5 approvals.
Yeah.
It's been CRLs after CRLs. So hopefully this one is a go. But I think the company future is awesome, but I'm not very excited for an antidepressant approval.
All right, thoughts. You have any thoughts on Dare Bioscience?
I like Dare. I was looking at, people are like looking for more partnerships from Bayer. I think Bayer has a partnership with them. People are accumulating. That's a company that I want to I'm going to dig a little deeper this week, and I'll get you guys next Friday, but it's looking at a company that I might want to actually start accumulating. So it looks really interesting.
What about OPTN?
I have OPTN. I really like that company. They I talked to you guys about it. They have a product that's doing really well in sales that eye doctors are really excited about it. It's a long term for me. It's one of those that I put on my IRA, and it's a set and forget it. But I own shares of OPTN.
Here's one. I know we've discussed Cydius CTXR. This thing went to $4.50. Now it's back down to $2. You have thoughts on CTXR?
I'm not too familiar with that. If we talk about it, but I'll take a look. A lot of these companies, if it went up, is because usually the float is small, right? So they get news that go up. You got to be smart trading small cap bio. You pretty much. It's I told you guys, doing long term when there's no approved drug and they keep doing reverse splits and dilution. It's not a strategy you want to take. Next, that you needed $30 a share, to break even on a $2 share company.
Yeah. Okay. There's a bunch of lower price stocks being dropped. Here's one that's not XAIR $10 stock.
Mm-hmm.
Air or Beyond Air. That's not a biotech.
Beyond Air?
No, that's not a. Never mind. Okay, forget that. Let's look at. I'm just scrolling here in the chat.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look. BYSI, I heard of that one. Oh no, the Beyond Spring, they had really good data. Geez, did you see how it went? It went from look at the charts. It went huge because they had good data. Yeah, no, I had on my radar like at a really cheap. It makes me mad.
I guess hold on. I guess Beyond Air XAR that is like a biotech, but they're working on like
it is. The word is so it sounds like it's a mattress company.
Yeah.
I really didn't know like the coils.
Sorry. Yeah.
Like,
I don't know either.
I'm like Beyond Spring. I'm like, is that a mattress company?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. Lord Richardson, rewind the stream back 10 minutes. We just talked about SAVA for a while there. What about Qualigen, QLGN?
No, but I'll take a look and see what what's up with the company.
Do you have any No, I don't. This is mastermind.
I know. You don't want to mess with penny stock long term.
Hold on. CBay. Do you know this?
I'll take a look. I think I've covered that one before, but
wait. Do you have any cannabis exposure?
I used to, and the NMMD, and I sold. Another cannabis. No, I had the psychedelic.
Same thing, right? Same thing.
Yeah, I had that. I don't have any more cannabis exposure, but I should, right? I'm always supposed to vote the whole, the nation, legalize the whole country.
But then, eventually is what they say in theory.
Yeah, it's something that I used to have a CYRN. No, it's not CYRN. No, that's a technology company. What is the name of the one? I forgot. I used to own. I bought calls for it. Did really well because it goes through phases, right? Like the cannabis stock.
It's so cyclical. It's so cyclical. Yeah, it's so out of favor right now.
Yeah,
what,
exactly.
what about Bingo, BNGO?
I have that on a set and forget account for sure.
Set it and forget account. So
Set
that
and
means
forget
you know,
account.
you know what that means? That means she doesn't look at it. It means
No,
she doesn't look at it because if she does,
no.
it might freak her out.
Yeah, set and forget it. I feel like there's a huge potential here. Don't have a lot of it. So my strategy is it's when I believe in a company, I buy, I buy a little bit just as an exposure. And when it gets closer to catalyst, I add it. I shouldn't be going back to the catalyst of this company, but I feel like this company has a huge potential. Huge. So, but I'll cover up for next Friday for sure.
Let's do a couple more. OcuGen, OCGN, High Flyer.
Yeah, the OCGN is the whole vaccine, right? It's the whole, yeah.
Are you in it? Do you have a opinion?
No, I don't. I mean, no. In terms of a COVID place, I have a Sorrento. Sorrento partnered up with that company, DYAI. That company is gonna get shares of a Sorrento, and they're gonna be able to produce the vaccine really fast. It's a vaccine. Yeah, Sorrento has a lot on a pipe in terms of a COVID, but it's not the reason I began investing in Sorrento, because it's one of my first stocks that I ever bought. So I can't sell it. I'm always FOMOing Sorrento, SRNE, because every time there's a good news, it spike. I want that spike back to $20 a share. But I like the company.
Last one. Do you have any thoughts on gene therapy, whether it's CRISPR or GENE?
Yeah, I like so the GNE I used to own. It's such a good stock to trade, because when we have a news, it's an Australian company and it's slow float. I used to have 10,000 shares of Gene and went up to the $8 a share, and I sold. It's such a good little trade stock. I would like to see what's coming up in terms of of a catalyst, because they do have testing. It is also a COVID company for sure. Gene, maybe it's time to get some Gene again, because it always does really well. See when there's a catalyst.
All right, guys. Vivi is joining us now every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Thanks for dialing in, you guys. Good to see you all.
Guys, smash the like for Vivi. Drop her a like.
Smash the like.
Drop her a like, and we'll see you next Friday.
Yes, for sure.
All right, thanks a lot. And there's her handle up on the screen, at Biotech_SD. There it is. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap for me here. We've got to end of the stream. SPACs Attack is coming up live right now. They are talking about all the SPACs that Palantir has either invested in or partnered with. They've got their fingers all over the SPAC market, those guys at Palantir. So smash me a like, drop me a like. What are we at here on the like front? Let's take a look-see. What am I seeing? Come on, computer. 168. Oh, that is low. That is low. Get me to 200, please. Thank you. All right. SPACs Tech, followed by Power Hour, followed by Get Technical, followed by Moon or Bust, followed by Zinger Stock Trivia. Reminder, no at the close show today. Both Joe and I are going to be out. And yeah, that's what we've got going on. We've got Money Mitch. We got Brad Weber later on in the day. Everyone, have a good rest of your day. Stay safe, stay green, stay filled. SPACs Tech live right now.